Hi, hello. I'm sorry if the camera's too low. I'm gonna try out recording on my phone this time because I get the feeling that maybe the iPad sound recording is not the best, and I'm looking for a bit more flexible of an option. So let's not waste any time here and just kind of get right into it, shall we? I have been trying out pretty much different techniques every reading, so I'm just gonna go on and keep improvising if you'll allow me. And if there's any kind of consistency that you want to ask me to maintain, I'm pretty open to suggestions. This is all a huge experiment after all, and I appreciate you even taking the time to check this out. So, just trying to ground my energy a bit, get a little more comfortable, and see if there's anything that comes to mind right off the bat. I'm seeing something about the moon. We just had the Sagittarius full moon last night, so hopefully you charged your crystals. I know I didn't because I was already passing out, but they sit on the windowsill, and I figure that catches enough moonlight even if I didn't put them completely outside. So maybe let's just do a post-Sagittarius full moon reading in that case. I hope you're doing really well, and I hope that you're doing okay with everything going on in your life at this time. If there's anything that you want me to touch on in particular, I think now is a good time to try to focus on it while I get my hands a little more oriented to this specific space. And with these specific decks. But all I ever want to bring is clarity and kind of like the way forward. I think that's the point of divinating a lot of the time. Sometimes it's just pure curiosity, but whatever it is for you, let's see if we might meet in the middle in terms of me picking up what you're putting down if you choose to put it down. Two of Pentacles in reverse. This seems like a situation that feels impossibly difficult because and I got a nose itch for confirmation, I think. I don't know how long this light will last. I'm sorry, this isn't a parlor trick or anything with the light going on and off, but I do things as I go. But I see the 10 of Cups underneath the deck reversed with this 2 of Pentacles, and I'm just seeing a lot of water that feels very unstable. It's like these waves behind this person are making the juggling of the 2 Pentacles feel very unstable, and the 10 of Cups in reverse, of course, it is a general feeling of instability, but in our ability to connect with other people around us. Maybe the family situation wasn't the best at home growing up. Maybe the roommate situation isn't the best right now. Maybe you just got out of a situation that didn't feel so great. You're hoping to move into something a little better, but these interruptions I'm hearing, or there's kind of like cause for worry that I'm sensing with this 2 of Pentacles reversed. Let's see what we might be able to glean from a different deck. Now we've got the 2 of Wands upright, so that's interesting, and the Ace of Pentacles underneath the deck. I think that's very reassuring, because the sense that I was getting when I was looking at these in combination, it was sort of like the finances feeling rough are kind of like the cherry on top of a situation that has already been rough and difficult for so long. These kind of feel like the exact same energy of just like, what is going on here? I can't really find my footing. There's not really a way forward. But there's a stability in your specific brand of creativity that's really starting to come through right now. Because as anyone who has struggled financially for long amounts of time knows, and this card says choice here, what comes to mind when I read that is there are fewer choices to be made when less options are presented. So there is a benefit to not having a swath of options in front of you to choose from. When you're limited, it really increases the amount of creativity that a person can experience. And that's why I think that certain artists really excel in certain ways that others don't when they are presented with certain limitations throughout their work, certain boundaries that are being presented to them, to have them questioning their own personal boundaries as creators. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really see that there are just like two blocking energies around these figures that are kind of skirting the outsides of them. So I sense a general feeling of protection, even if it is not financial at this time, because in reality, there are three elements happening here. It's almost like you've been really attempting to expand your abundance and to I'm sorry my nose keeps itching so much, but I think it's a lot of confirmation happening here. It's causing an almost like allergic itchy reaction in you to not be able to fully redistribute resources like you would prefer to, or like in a way that would make you feel successful, I want to say, just because it's a pentacles energy. But with this Two of Wands upright, I'm really sensing that you're beginning to understand that yes, money can bring you a certain amount of the way, but there's nothing like possibility, but true, well-informed possibility, not just I could be an astronaut, a doctor, and a race car driver. I mean, fuck yeah, if you want to do all those things, I'm not telling you shouldn't, but I'm saying if, as I'm seeing this go down, you're experiencing you're experiencing some sort of fear of financial woes, I'm sensing, or just like financial hardship, or like the money isn't really lining up in the way that you expected it to, or think it should. But this Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck is not here yet, so just kind of hold on for a minute for something to come in. I say it's not here yet because it's not on the table, it's under the deck, but I think it's just kind of saying it's gonna be okay. I mean, creativity can get you anywhere. Creativity can get you paid in ways you couldn't even imagine until you see it unfold before you, because you decide to take one leap of faith for yourself. And I've been trying to pull from the left hand today, which I don't usually do, so let's see how well these batteries and my hands do with this new method. See, I'm really seeing validation for that notion that you are sensing a sort of financial security that is born from adapting to your circumstances so constantly and honestly so beautifully, and so I'm hearing embodied in an embodied way, that you took what felt like a downward facing situation that felt like too much to handle, and you realized that you were building strength of creativity from having to problem solve from each issue to each issue, and it doesn't even feel that chaotic. It's very, sorry, this thing moved around. This is a negative slide holder from my scanner, so maybe this is, I'm looking at, these are just some images that I shot around my neighborhood, just so maybe just to tie this in, because it kind of startled me, so it felt really worth pointing out. Maybe you have built a fortress of solutions. You know, with the Fortress of Solitude in Superman, I think you've built a fortress of solutions around you through your creativity, saying, money be damned, I'm going to make choices for my future in a healthy way, regardless of the stress that I feel in this current predicament. But that thought took two problems and created one solution. And again, you see him holding the world here between this protection of a creative project that you may be working on, or it may be as simple as like doing meditative walks around your neighborhood. It doesn't have to be that complicated if you don't want it to be, but I think there's a lot of power in just indulging your senses, so doing something like taking photos on a walk. I have been getting this Wheel of Fortune reversal a lot, so I'm excited to see it come up again so we can all try to tackle this together. But it's in combination with this Page of Swords reversed. That doesn't feel like good news. It feels like bad news about bad karma, but I think you're waiting to see what happens. I don't think that you're necessarily jumping into this situation because you're feeling the sense of protection, and it's kind of making you feel a little bit rich energetically right now. You feel very well supported energetically, especially with this confirmation of knowing something's going to come in for you. A pentacle looks like a wheel, looks like a pentacle, looks like the world. It's just kind of like all these circular shapes are not trying to distract you, but trying to get you to notice them. And I see this circular shape around the head here. That's the noticing. And I'm sorry if this feels too rapid fire. It's just kind of pouring out. But let's see what we can glean. Is gleam or glean the word? I think it's glean with an N. But let's see what we can glean about this Hanged Man card. I'm excited about this Devil in reverse too. I think that's good. Okay, Ace of Wands reversed under the deck, but I made that face because we got the Wheel of Fortune upright. Here, I think, so that is how you correct, and this is really itching now, there may be some sort of bad karma trailing you, and this just happens, don't trip. I mean, every single person alive and dead goes through it. But this is telling you that hanging back and understanding that you're meant to observe the patterns around you that feel repetitive, consistent, too in your face to ignore, basically. You're sitting back and noticing them and kind of forming this, you're matching the energy of the circles which are being presented to you by rounding out your perception. About someone or something in particular, I'm feeling like these energies are really lining up, but they're kind of like opposite sides of the coin. Big confirmation there. Sorry. So I think that with you sitting back and observing this energy as it's coming in, you made the choice to look at it as if the whole world can fit in the palm of your hand. And when you feel that way, it feels like the big problems aren't so big anymore. Okay, so just, I don't know, hold a globe. Like, if you have, or coins feel really good to hold too, I would recommend just holding something round in your hands and just feeling the weight of possibility. I don't know why I'm saying this, but maybe it'll make sense to you the next time you see something round that you want to pick up. Like, I think seeing everything for its own innate presence, as in seeing this circular round energy, like I've got the round motifs on my sweatshirt too, the circular things, kind of buy into it a little bit, just like lean into it is what I suggest, because I think that for whatever reason, like letting go of seriousness about matters such as this, which is just like playful intuition and ultimately like dropping burdens that we don't need to be carrying. I think it's a burden to be more serious than you intend to be. So there may be people or situations around you that are encouraging you to be more serious than you would like to be at this time. So just hold something round, reassuring and heavy to realize that like you have your own weight to support you, your life, and your decisions at all times. You have what it requires for you to like see this message that's trying to come through for you in the form of circles. Shapes can be extremely informative. It's nothing that complicated. It's just kind of like follow the circles, right? It's kind of the Fool energy here when I look at this little guidebook and you see the circle at the top, because it's the 0 card, the very first one. This feels a lot like a new beginning. I've been seeing aces come out of my decks a lot lately, but interestingly, it feels like there's something wrong, and it kind of felt like that when I was shuffling and pulling. I was really intending to pull from the left hand. I don't even know if I did just there. Let me just try again and see if we can get any more information about this new setup. This is looking really intense here. It feels like this reading is taking a turn halfway through. There's some kind of dark energy coming in. And I mean dark as in heavy. As in there's some weight to this new beginning that is probably trailing these figures. The Page of Swords reverse can talk about kind of stalking energy, where people are kind of up in your field just trying to get information, or just, I don't know. whatever it is that you don't want to be giving out is trying to be obtained from you without your permission, which I don't appreciate very much, personally, or for you. And it seems like a Page of Cups reverse, if you need hints as to who this might be: child issues, sexual abuse, bad news, broken dreams. Does someone show up always delivering bad news? And do you jump into it with them, or do you sit back and say, that is some bad news that you're showing me again? Because I think that I'm seeing like the end of what this would be had you not been in this suspended position to simply observe what is coming in towards you. You're kind of feeling into the fact that if you hadn't been suspended midair by your own volition, like the Hanged Man puts himself up there to think, to meditate, and to spend time alone in order to see the bigger picture from a higher point of view, if nothing else, right? If not, to just avoid his responsibilities for a little bit, just to think. Had you not avoided your responsibilities just to think for a little while, I think you would have been led down a road of disaster. So I want you to pat yourself on the back for listening to yourself and taking a break for whatever it was. If it was a work break, you're taking a break from a partner, I don't know, taking a break from a friend, or like from speaking to certain people or engaging in certain activities. I mean, let's see if that interpretation hits home. It seems like it does, with the High Priestess coming out here to confirm that this is the right thing to be reading about, and the Fool to confirm that circular energy that I placed up there. Let's see what else. We have the Page of Swords once again, and the Knight of Cups upright. This is very interesting. This is drawing back to mind these negatives. And quite obviously, when you scan film, you are turning negatives into positives. So, yeah, that's silly, and it's very straightforward, but most tarot readings you will find have that kind of tongue-in-cheek delivery, because information comes down in easily digestible bits so that each person can take a different bite and get a different experience of the meal. The whole point is variety in response and in consequent action following the reading, so that this energy might just disperse in the way that it should in your field. Okay, so to put it simply, take it as it resonates. But what I'm seeing here is a way to correct this energy. And why I was reminded of those negatives being scanned into positives is because this is a negative situation of keeping tabs on one another, of feeling a lack of trust, feeling a lack of something wholesome. But I see with just walking around taking photos of the neighborhood, it's pretty wholesome. I generally try to avoid getting too many identifying elements on these photos, so no addresses. Try to do so peacefully and without causing distress to your neighbors, basically. Try to lay low. I think that's what the Knight of Cups does, and that is what we are showing the Page of Cups in reverse. I think the Page of Cups in reverse is afraid of being seen, afraid of being acknowledged, afraid of being exposed in whatever way they feel is unsafe. But that's why for this Knight of Cups energy, I'm giving the advice to calmly lay low when you're going out and gathering your flowers from the neighborhood. You know, try your best to give something back, even if it's just a photograph in the end. But I think there's something that can turn this energy around, where there's trust that can be reestablished between what really feels like you and yourself, but it may be currently being projected out into other energies. As I'm saying, this is someone who is observing both inwardly and outwardly simultaneously. Okay? Does any of this make sense? You can tell me if it does or doesn't. I think I'm learning just as easily as you that each reading is going to be very different, and I'm learning to try out different techniques every time just to see what feels like the thing I want to repeat. So maybe you're doing something like that as well, and I'm sorry to tie it in like a maybe you're doing something like that as well, because that can feel kind of frustrating to hear. But I'm sensing worry creeping back in about money, or simply about productivity in general. So, in the name of honoring that, since we had an Ace of Pentacles go from upright to downward, I'm getting the feeling that this reading should stop. Because I think enough has been said, and perhaps there is something else for you to learn that might not happen while you're sitting and watching a video like this, not really letting it end with death in reverse. So I'm going to take that sign, get out while we're ahead, and yeah, I hope you do all right, and I know you will, because I see the King of Cups here at the end confirming this kind of energetic, emotional progression that you are really taking seriously right now. This is really a nice way to tie it in a nice bow at the end. I do not see the Queen of Cups here. I think that she's keeping to herself right now because she didn't like seeing the star reversed coming out. I don't know why I feel that way. It didn't feel safe, but I think that you're using really protective and defensive types of strategies, mostly to protect your peace and your sense of well-being and love and equanimity for all that surround you, because that's what the King of Cups aims for. So keep aiming high. Look at how unhappy he would have been if you didn't delay what you are currently delaying right now. So it's a good job for taking a break, but don't overstay your welcome in that break, as I think this reading is trying to illustrate. So I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. You're welcome here anytime, and I will be back as soon as I'm called to. All right? Good luck.